Good morning, everyone. I just came across something interesting. And again, it's like, okay. Mm. Sometimes I feel like it's almost as if, why are people believing certain things that I immediately go, wait a second. If you have the knowledge, if in a way, if you know and you've experienced it, then you're going, no, that's not right. So I just saw a post where it starts out, I thought it said, peace is the absence of chaos. And then it goes on about it's it's when you're okay, when there's a storm and you know Jesus is in the boat, right? Yes? And I thought, yeah, that sounds great. Then I listened to it again and I'm going, wait a minute, that's not what he says. He says chaos isn't uh, peace isn't the absence of chaos. I'm going, what? Wait a second. So the first time, right, was like I heard what absolutely resonated to me. Peace is the absence of chaos. And I'm going, okay, well, now why can't I not agree? Oh, peace isn't the absence of chaos, right? There is just, chaos is just a part of our life, and it depends on how you go through it, that yeah, that sounds about right, doesn't it? Then I'm going, yeah, but why did my first impression, as I said, I heard peace is the absence of chaos. Yeah, absolutely. Peace is the absence of chaos. And I thought, and then I go back and say, okay, why do I feel differently about this? Though I'm sure that millions of people, they hear this and go, yeah, that's it. Then with the second part about it's peace is when there is a storm, and you make it through it, because Jesus is up in the boat, right? Yes. Well, that's just, yeah. Well, everything that God created came out of what? A void. People call it a void. First there was chaos, right? Yes. And then what did God do out of the chaos? He created something incredibly beautiful, peaceful and harmonious. Yes, okay. I could think of, what's chaos? I raised 4 children. I had a house to take care of. Went to work as well. Yes. Homeschooled. When I think of on how many things that I balanced out and managed, right, in my life to keep everything, chaotic? Well, that can get chaotic, right? No, I didn't let my house get chaotic in any way. My children were always, yes, even there. They were busy. They were doing things, but it was not chaos. I'd say for the most part, my home was peaceful and harmonious, not chaotic, because I kept it peaceful and harmonious, cleaned up, taking care of things, making sure that, yes, all the bills could be paid with the extra that I made, or we could have, right, some trips or things, special to do with the children, yes, all right, and of course my husband, at that time, he was contributing to all that as well, and even there, right, yes, okay. Chaos is not a part of peace. It is. Peace is the absence of chaos. And if you look around your own home with this or that and there is chaos, then ask yourself how it got there. It's not supposed to be a part of your life. It isn't. We let things slide. Right? the one thing I hear more often than anything else, right, from moms and wives is the loads of laundry, the piles of laundry that need to be taken care of. I've been in homes where you walk in the door, not the front door, but kind of through the garage door, and there is their laundry room, and you had to kind of, well, just about step on laundry to get dirty laundry to get to into the house. And I have no idea why people would. This is what? Was what? But then I grew up in a household that was very clean. Yeah, not a rich household where you had servants and this and that. Okay, my mom was very organized. Again, because she centered her life around God and Jesus, and obviously there's, well, not going to have that kind of chaos in my home. For example, with laundry, I always took care of it. And my mom was someone who said, she ironed underwear. Okay, I don't do that anymore. But again, even there, one little simple thing, she'd stand there and she'd be singing and doing ironing the laundry, everything. How many people still iron their laundry themselves? A lot of people don't even have an iron in the house anymore, right? Yes? I don't understand that. I don't get it. Why? Okay. Why are you letting things get so out of control? That then it becomes overwhelming. Then you have to look at yourself and say, why did I let it go this far? It's not such a big deal to put dirty laundry in a we got washing machines and dryers now, okay? Even if you just have a washing machine. I'm not fond of dryers. I don't really need one, but you need one because there's nobody who has a line to hang clothes anymore, right? I do at our house, yes. And there too, for a while there wasn't one, and it was like, this is such a, I'm just, okay. So, but now we do. Most people have a washer and a dryer. There was a time where we didn't have, when we were building our home, there was no washer and dryer, and I had to go and find a laundromat. Oh, I enjoyed going to the laundromat. As I said, it just depends on how you look at things and how you take care of things, yes, and find the joy in it as well. And every time I would go to the laundromat, I would find someone to talk to. We end up having a wonderful conversation about God or Jesus, the Bible, something. So there's always reasons why. Don't miss out on good chances, right? Yes. To give something into someone else's life. And of course, one always receives something back. And even then, our laundry wasn't all over the place, this and that. It was nicely, neatly in baskets and ready to go when I was ready to go. Not laying around everywhere. There's no excuse today to not be able to take care of your clothes, your children's clothes. Do you know what I mean? That's the kind of chaos that I see in people's homes. Yeah, well, that's man-made chaos. So, peace absolutely is the absence of chaos. So, let's get started. I have to say that. Oh, there's another thing that came to my mind. Again, I was laying in bed last night, and I was just thinking, the amazing world of God, just amazing. And how could anyone be confused about that? With all the knowledge we have out there now. And amazingly, I mentioned that with Jesus and how Jesus just survived. His story survived. The man and his teachings survived and is such a big part in people's lives. 2,000 years later, no other person has that kind of part in people's lives otherwise. There's nobody, and there is not another God than our God, our Father in heaven, who has the same status, even greater status. The only God that survives, the only one. Whatever people are still worshiping out there, they know. It's just humbug. It just is. It's all fantasy, made up stuff. Yet, the one God is everywhere, and more so. I'm just saying, right? Yes, amazing to me how anyone could overlook something like that. So yeah, I don't believe, and I wonder, how do you not believe? What do you mean by that? Right? Yes? Worshipping the sun, the moon, or the stars. What is that? You're worshipping gases and certain other aspects of science. Yeah, that's it. All right. Okay, get going, Danielle. Yeah, I know. So, yeah, you appreciate it. Yeah, so there too. Right? Judges 16, the gates of Gaza. Samson then went to Gaza, and seeing a prostitute there, went into her. The men of Gaza, being told Samson has arrived, surrounded the place and kept watch for him the whole night at the town gate. All that night they were going to make no move, thinking, let us wait until daybreak and then kill him. Till midnight, however, Samson stayed in bed, and then at midnight he got up, seized the doors of the town gate and the 2 posts as well. He tore them up, bar and all, hoisted them onto his shoulders, and carried them to the top of the hill overlooking Hebron. Whatever that means. So, but he went and he saw, seeing a prostitute there, went into her. Okay, there you go. Oh, God came down onto him too there, right? Yes. Oh, let's forget that, man. Thou shalt not commit adultery. Yeah. Well, that's when one is not married. The dude is married. Was married. Maybe still married. I'm just saying. That's it. Weird stuff in here. Where again, what's being advertised here? And what makes it okay? Because God will come down on him again. Okay? All right? So, there you go. Right? Samson's creating all kinds of chaos around himself. And why? The choices that he's making. What, was he not taught anything? Yet, how was he conceived? How was the messages given to them on how he was a special child in a way that God wanted to work through? Not sure. There must have been a reason there too. My God needed Samson. For this? Okay. For what he's done before? Really? Or, well, guidance wasn't there. Samson is betrayed by Delilah. The guy just has, reminds me just, again, right here, I'm saying, yep. Dude, very self-concerned about himself, about anything and all. It's not about the people anywhere, but when it comes to this guy. And how many kings and emperors were and are exactly the same, right? Yes? And how often were women involved in all that? Yes, that guy's just, I don't know. Chaos. Chaos when it comes to the realm of love. Because why? Because the one commandment that we have, thou shalt not commit adultery. Then there's another one. Don't go and look at your neighbor's wife. This, that. Yes? Completely disregarded. The 10 Commandments, if you follow them, guess what? That's peace. And the absence of chaos. Oh, nice. Alrighty then. Guess I need to see that this morning. After this, he fell in love with a woman in the Vale of Sorek. She was called Delilah. The Philistines' chiefs visited her and said, cajole him, another Philistine woman. Okay. Man, he just liked them Philistine women, didn't he? God said, don't do that. Cajole him and find out where his great strength comes from and how we can master him, so that we can bind him and subdue him. In return, we shall each give you 1,100 silver shekels. Delilah said to Samson, please tell me where your great strength comes from and what would be needed to bind and subdue you. Oh, this time, the Delilah wasn't threatened. She was, yeah, we're going to give you this. We're going to give you a lot of money. Right? Yes, a bribe. Okay, then. Samson replied, if I were bound with 7 new bowstrings, which had not yet been dried, I should lose my strength and become like any other man. The Philistine chiefs brought Delilah 7 new bowstrings, which had not yet been dried, and she took them and bound him with them. She had men concealed in her room, and she shouted, the Philistines are on you, Samson. Then he snapped the bowstrings as a strand of tow snaps at a touch of the fire. So the secret of his strength remained unknown. Okay. So 7, that's a lot. That's a lot of bowstrings. So she ties him up while he's asleep, and he doesn't wake up. Boy, that dude slept really well. And then at a shout from her, hey, they're coming for you, he wakes up. Oh, okay then. That makes a lot of sense. Oh, and of course, so he tells her that. Oh, let's see what goes on next. Delilah then said to Samson, you have been laughing at me and telling me lies, but now please tell me what would be needed to bind you. He replied, if I were bound tightly with new ropes which have never been used, I should lose my strength and become like any other man. Delilah then took new ropes and bound him with them, and she shouted, the Philistines are on you, Samson. She had men concealed in her room, but he snapped the ropes round his arms like thread. What? And he's still, man, that dude must have been really dumb. I mean, are you hearing this? And he's not going, why do you want to know about the strength? And then tests her? Is he testing her? Just, okay. I'm not getting it, right? So he's just messing around with her? I have no idea. I'm not getting this. Delilah then said to Samson, up to now you have been laughing at me and telling me lies. So she accuses him, right? Okay, all right. Tell me what would be needed to bind you. He replied, if you wove the 7 locks of my hair into the warp of a cloth and beat them together tight with the reed, I should lose my strength and become like any other man. She lulled him to sleep, then wove the 7 locks of his hair into the warp, beat them together tight with the reed, and shouted, the Philistines are on you, Samson. He woke from his sleep and pulled out both reed and warp. So the secret of his strength remained unknown. All right. Bedtime story. Delilah said to him, how can you say that you love me when your heart is not with me? 3 times now you have laughed at me and have not told me where your great strength comes from. And day after day she pestered him with her talk, nagging him till he grew sick to death of it. At last he confided everything to her. He said to her, a razor has never touched my head, because I have been God's Nazarite from my mother's womb. If my head were shorn, then my power would leave me, and I should lose my strength and become like any other man. Delilah then realized that he had really confided in her. She sent for the Philistine princes with the message, come just once more, he has confided everything to me. And the Philistine chiefs came to her with the money in their hands. She lulled Samson to sleep in her lap, summoned a man, and had him shear off the 7 locks from his head. Thus, for the first time, she got control over him, and his strength left him. She cried, the Philistines are on you, Samson. He awoke from sleep thinking, I shall break free as I have done time after time and shake myself clear. But he did not know that Yahweh had left him. The Philistine seized him, put out his eyes and took him down to Gaza. They feathered him with a double chain of bronze, and he spent his time turning to mill in the prison. But his hair began to grow again when it had been cut off. No doubt, this is a story again, more as what? Huh? Oh, this really happened? I asked before, well, what did God really need from Samson? What God needed from Samson is selflessness. Samson is just a really selfish, self-centered human being. And he isn't humble about it. He's humble about the fact that, hey, yeah, I'm God's Nazarite. Yeah, so, yeah, nothing's going to happen to me. And his ego became so inflated about it that he actually told Delilah, yeah, this is what could take my strength. I think that though he had his physical strength, right, due to the fact that his ego was so inflated, he must have somehow suddenly realized that he was standing all by himself. I'm assuming. If the story, to me, this is just a story to learn a lesson out of it. When God leaves you, when you leave God, God never leaves anybody. It's not possible. And even if one turns away from God, never has heard about God, and wasn't raised with God, God's still within you, in that heart, in the depth of your heart, your spirit heart. Yes, He's there. Always will be, always has been, always is. Samson turned completely the story away from God. Completely. Yes? Don't know if people realized when they wrote down the story that's what he was doing. That's where suddenly chaos entered his life. It was already before chaos. God still trying to straighten things out. Trying to. Samson never gave God a chance. Never. And it ended in his death. We'll find that out now. You can't tell me that you cut someone's hair and suddenly you have no strength. Doesn't make any sense at all. All right, Danielle, I'm sorry, can't help it. Samson's revenge. Oh, by the way, Samson here is spelled S-A-M-S-O-N. But the way I grew up with it was Samson. It had the P in there. S-A-M-P-S-O-N. Right? Yes? Yeah. Interesting. Why did it change that? Samson's revenge and death. Oh, revenge. There we go again. Dude hasn't learned a thing. The Philistine chiefs assembled to offer a great sacrifice to Dagon, their god. Dagon. Never heard of Dagon. He's gone now. Dagon. And amid their festivities, they said, into our hands our God has delivered Samson, our enemy. And as soon as the people saw their God, they acclaimed him, shouting his praises. Into our hands our God has delivered Samson, our enemy, the man who laid our country waste and killed so many of us. And as their hearts were full of joy, they shouted, summon Samson out to amuse us. So Samson was summoned from prison, and he performed feats in front of them. Like what? Then he was put to stand between the pillars. Samson then said to the boy who was leading him by the hand, lead me where I can touch the pillars supporting the building, so that I can lean against them. Now, what feats was he performing? What is that all about now? Well, anyway, so he got where they needed him, and where somebody needed him in the pillars. All right. Now the building was crowded with men and women. All the Philistine chiefs were there, while about 3,000 men and women were watching Samson's feats from the terrace. Samson called on Yahweh and cried out, Lord Yahweh, I beg you, remember me. Give me strength again this once. O God, let me be revenged on the Philistines at one blow for my 2 eyes. And Samson took hold of the 2 central pillars supporting the building and braced himself, with his right arm around one and his left arm around the other. He shouted, Let me die with the Philistines. He then heaved with all his might, and the building fell on the chiefs and on all the people there. Those whom he brought to their death by his death outnumbered those whom he had done to death during his life. His brothers and the whole of his father's family came down and carried him away. They took him back and buried him between Zorah and Eshtaol, in the tomb of Manoah his father. He had judged Israel for 20 years. Okay, that's the story of Samson. Interesting. We talk about chaos. Ooh. I opened it right up again. And right up to the end, yes, calling on God. Yahweh, give me my strength. I have no doubt, after all them women, wanted what? There wasn't one woman really loved him and supported him. Right? It's an interesting story. One could come up with all kinds of things on what went wrong there, right? And he got into a depression, and because of the women that didn't love him and wanted to know how they could make him weak and whatever, and when one gets into a depression and has anxieties and I don't know what, then what happens? You lose your strength, right? Yes. I don't think Samson ever really walked with God at all, from what I've been hearing through the story. And what kept him going was the specialness of him, right? Yes? Oh, my parents told me this and that about my birth, and then, I am God's what? Nazarite, I don't know, to be a judge of it for Israel, right? Against other people, right? And that keeps people going. That's why I think people out there, even if I'm looking at them, dear me, where's your life going? Is this really what you want? That chaos rather than peace. And then in the end, okay, I say, I don't know how much is true of that whole story. Samson didn't learn a thing all through his life, not one thing. This is about one man, very self-centered. Gives us a good look into what your life is going to be like. If chaos rules your world. Anyway. Yeah. Samson. His hair. Seems like that towards the end of his life, when he finally told Delilah, okay, according to the story, just trying to put myself into the shoes of this story, where he's just doesn't care about his strength anymore, right? Yes, that's the absence of God. I see many times when people post things, this or that, on how, though they profess to believe in God and this, that there is an absence of God visible in the way they approach chaos in their life. It's just as I've asked before, is it not possible to not have war in this world because people like a war? It's something that's been for thousands and thousands of years such a part of humanity, mankind, that it's needed to fulfill the desires of man. That's why war will always be a part of, until, I don't know, a generation is born that will lay down their arms all around the world and say, no, we're done. We don't need this anymore. We want to be rehabilitated from this. Yes. Chaos, is that something else that people just need in their life to justify everything that's going wrong, and then there's no change needed because one has no control over it. What did I say about the dirty laundry? Even the clean laundry. Why don't people fold? No, you don't even have to iron it. Just fold the laundry, put it away properly. Can't be done. One simple thing. In your household, or in people's households, that is chaos. It's not needed. But it gives everybody who has that type of chaos something to whine about. What if you didn't have anything to whine about anymore? Life become less interesting? Yeah, okay. If we would have peace and harmony all over the world, would life be less interesting for people? The one thing I don't hear, with Samson being the judge in Israel for I don't know how long, it's just more people got killed, right? Yes? But what else did he do for the Israelites? Anything? Was Samson in any way, other way than just being a warlord again, beneficial to the Israelites? In the way that God wanted a person to be beneficial to the Israelites? Doesn't say. Oh, but no, that's just chaos, right? Yes? Chaos that the Israelites already got used to, right? Yes? Well, anyway, so there it is. Ooh, there's the most beautiful yellow-bellied bird. Must be a yellow-bellied blackbird or something, I don't know. It's beautiful. It's so bright, sitting right there on the electric wires, whatever the wires are. Beautiful. Hi. Again, one has to really see. Oh, there goes our robin up, because hey, I'm here too. I'm orange-breasted. Aren't I pretty too? Yes, you are. Look at the two of you sitting a little bit apart from each other. Yeah. Let's see, peacefully. Two different species of birds sitting peacefully next to each other. One's a little bigger, the other one's a little smaller. Both want to be recognized by me. Oh, one of them just flew down. Oh. Cute. See. Got recognized. Yep. We got the little vibe. Yes, we did. Right. Yes. Cute. We're going now. Oh, so. The children and I had a very interesting experience yesterday. We went for a walk. They were on their bikes. My granddaughter, oh, hi. Oh, that little yellow bird just came up here. It's beautiful. It's got this lemony, deep color. A finch. Is that a yellow finch? See, I don't know. Just know they're beautiful. And my granddaughter had her little scooter with her, and we got to this place where it's a pretty open place, and it has a lot of flowers there, and they're all coming back now. It's the place that they got down. Now it's all coming back, and I wanted to go and check in there and see what herbs there were. It's such a great place. And there was a big old field of just dirt, and I thought, yeah, let's go down there. I bet you that we'll have fun. So the day before, they wanted to go over here where they're building another house, and there's a spot, pretty big, like a parking lot, and it's just dirt. And they wanted to go in there, and I said, no, I think that's too soft. Don't go in there, And I wasn't sure if, it's a construction site, so, there was nobody there yet. So I said no, and of course they're like, but it's fine. It would be fine, Grozy. It would just be fine. No, it's too late in the day, and if just in case, and da 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 da. So then yesterday I said, okay, guys, now you have a chance. Let's go down there, and you guys can run around in the dirt with your bikes a little bit, And so we got down there, and we started walking in, and I tried to find the best place. There were some puddles, the best place to go through it, and in no time our shoes were caked in dirt. The bikes, the tires were just, you couldn't see the tire anymore. There was so much dirt caked on it in no time, and here we are. And my granddaughter's scooter is like, oh, and I'm going, oh my goodness, and the boys are like, Rosie, we need help. I mean, they couldn't even, they carry the bikes out of the mud. It was, I'm going, dear me. So again, chaos. What to do? Of course, okay, I mean, I've lived long enough, okay? I said, let's get all the bikes up here on the gravel. Then we'll have to scoop off, right, all the dirt from the tire by hand. I mean, scooped handfuls of dirt off the tires and their shoes. My grandson did great. He did almost the whole pack himself, and I said it was caked in between the tire and where also the brakes were, and it's, dear me. And I'm going, let's get this off enough so that they can still ride them home. I was a little worried about that. I went, the brakes might not work anymore now until it was, we get to hose them off. And we had some hills, that coming down. And I helped the boy that, my grandson's friend, who gets a little bit the heebie-jeebies if it gets too dirty. It was one of those okay, got all done. They were able to ride it. The brakes did work, but I told them to go slow and be careful. Also, that tire's probably going to be a little more slippery now with all that dirt, with some of the dirt still on it. They were, I mean, and I thought to myself while we were walking back, I thought, there you go. Now they know. Right? The day before I had to say no. I said no because of the place where it was at, and it's like, probably not a good idea. And then with the bikes, I said, because I had a desire to go and see what. And they learned. We learned together in a way. They learned, this is what happens. So do you really think? And turns out that right over here, it was exactly the same. Because I went there with my granddaughter yesterday and we got some more dirt, and sure enough, it was just as soft as this other place was. We had the experience together, right? Yes? And it wasn't just, the kids, we can't do that. No, we want to do that. It will be just fine. They just realized what a muck and a mess that can be. Yes. Then we cleaned it all up, came here, and they both got to spray off their own bike and take, and they loved it. They did a great job cleaning off their bikes. Loved it. So we took care of the chaos together. Yeah, that we created ourselves. Yeah, if anybody watched this there, they would say, "Oh my gosh!" But cleaned it up. It's not such a big deal. Everybody got home safe. Then we took care of business. That's it. Hosing off the bikes, this, that. Took care of the shoes and all that. And yeah, now they know. Now they had the experience and what it's going to be like, right, to get into muck like that with their bikes. Right? Now they've had the experience with me together. We had the experience together. I cleaned it up together. Oh, I doubt these boys are ever going to do that again. So there it is. Ah, great story. That was an adventure. And I ended up finding a whole bunch of puffballs, like little mushrooms, which my granddaughter helped me collect a whole bunch, and had those for dinner last night. Puffballs, those white puffballs, okay, as long as they haven't turned, they have to be white. The flesh inside has to still be white and tight, and not gray or brownish, and usually you can push down and it, poof, all the spores are released. That's too far gone. You can't eat those anymore. But when they're fresh, puffballs, white puffballs, are really amazing for your inside. It helps. It's a great healing mushroom. Also for excess bleeding after giving birth, and yes, an amazing healing mushroom. Yeah, not just one that tastes good. Good morning. You're awake. I just got done here. I just told the people the story of the bikes and the muck that we had together.
Oh, great.
Okay, you guys. Yep. Now you know, right? Uh-huh. All right. That's all I have to share this morning. God's love and blessings always. May He protect you, and I will talk to you another time.